What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 13. Sleeper picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to give you some of my top DFS sleeper picks, super low priced and low ownership players that could crush value this week and give your lineup an advantage over the field. These are risky plays, meant for large tournaments only. Don't go all in on any of these guys. They are high risk, high reward picks. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, NFL Week 13. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my sleeper pick at the quarterback position, now it could be Russell Wilson, who scored 20 fantasy points last game, and he's $6,400 DraftKings salary, $900 more on FanDuel. He's only going to be about 2% owned, playing the San Francisco 49ers, who have a middle of the pack, who give up the 9, 10, 11, the 12th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. But it's not Russell Wilson, it's Jimmy Garoppolo from the San Francisco 49ers playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they're middle of the pack defending opposing quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo has averaged 17 fantasy points per game on the season. He gets an average of 3 rush attempts per game, and he's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 17.8 fantasy points here in Week 13. He's only $5,700 DraftKings salary. He's $900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the 49ers favored by 3. So guys, Deebo Samuel, he's out. And that actually may help Jimmy Garoppolo because Deebo Samuel was the reason that Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have a great week last week because he ate up all the rushing touchdowns, which makes no sense because he's a wide receiver. But anyways, Jimmy Garoppolo still has Brandon Ayuk and his tight end George Kittle. So still plenty of firepower, plenty of guys to throw the ball to. And Jimmy Garoppolo, he scored 12, 16, and 15 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He got 3, 2, and 2 rush attempts in those games. Now, I am expecting a big week from Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a great matchup last week. I thought that was the week that he was going to perform, but it was Deebo Samuel with those running touchdowns. Really threw a monkey wrench in our projection for Jimmy Garoppolo. So this week, I like Jimmy Garoppolo here versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My sleeper pick at the running back position is Devonta Freeman from the Baltimore Ravens playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Devonta Freeman has scored 7, 20, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And take a look at his last 2 games. He got 16 rush attempts and 1 pass target, and 16 rush attempts and 6 pass targets. So pretty decent volume here. And Devonta Freeman's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 10.8 fantasy points here in week 13. He's 5,500 DraftKings salary, 600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 44 points scored in this game, with the Ravens favored by 4.5. So great matchup here, getting plenty of rush attempts. I think he can score 15 fantasy points or more in this one. So I like Devonta Freeman here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. This is my favorite sleeper pick on the slate by a pretty big margin here. I like Kenny Golladay from the New York Giants playing the Miami Dolphins, who have the 6th worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Now, Kenny Golladay has only averaged 7.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.1 pass targets per game. But he's on the field for 70% of the snaps, and he's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 10.8 fantasy points here in week 13. And he's only 5,000 DraftKings salary, 800 more on FanDuel. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 39.5 points scored in this game, with the Giants trailing by 6.5. So it should be a passing game script for the New York Giants. And I like this pick because John Ross is questionable, Sterling Shepard is out. So I think Kenny Golladay is going to get a ton of pass targets in a fantastic matchup in a passing game script. And he is a few weeks now removed from injury. His legs and his skills should be back to 100% now. He got 7 pass targets last game. He only scored 8 fantasy points, but I love the opportunity. I think he can get double-digit pass targets. So I like Kenny Golladay here versus the Miami Dolphins.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. So, I'm going to give you 2 sleeper picks here. The first one, let's go with a salary-saving pick. This is a deep sleeper pick if you really want to save a ton of salary at the tight end position. Take a look at Ryan Griffin from the New York Jets playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Ryan Griffin, he's averaging 4.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3.2 pass targets per game. So those numbers don't look great, but he has got 4 and 4 pass targets in each of his last 2 games, scoring 5 and 7 fantasy points. He's only going to be about 1% owned, and he's only 2,600 DraftKings salary. He's 2,100 more on FanDuel, and the Jets should be trailing, or Vegas thinks the Jets are going to be trailing by 5.5 in this game. So a passing game script, a fantastic matchup, super low ownership, and a super low price tag. So if he's going to get 4 to 5 pass targets, I think he can hit value. So I like Ryan Griffin here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
But now, the tight end, the sleeper pick that I like the most here at the tight end position is Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They've been pretty good versus opposing tight ends, but Mark Andrews has averaged 16 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.1 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 72% of the snaps. He's only going to be about 3% owned. Projected at 14.2 fantasy points here in week 13. He's 6,000 DraftKings salary and 1,300 more on FanDuel. Take a look at his last 3 games. He scored 17, 15, and 18 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 10, 10, and 8 pass targets. So monster volume, excellent production. So I'm not sure why his ownership is so low. I think it's because George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski, who are both a little bit less salary on DraftKings, I think they're sucking up all the ownership here. But I think this is a mistake to ignore Mark Andrews, who has outperformed George Kittle, and he has outperformed Rob Gronkowski as well in terms of fantasy points per game and pass targets per game. Now, I do love George Kittle this week with no Deebo Samuel. I think Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle are both fantastic plays in a good matchup versus the Seahawks. And I do like Rob Gronkowski as well, who has just been on fire the past couple of games. But I like Mark Andrews here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially at that 3% ownership. I think Mark Andrews would be the way to go in tournaments because of his low ownership and his monster upside.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.